Viewers, and welcome once again to the channel of Politics with the News Chronicle. I remain your host, Emmanuel Akaudisa. With me on the right is...
My name is Tnc
and on the left I have...
Richard and again.
Yes, we are back again, and the political season still continues with its many intrigues. A lot has happened in the past week after we discussed about the PDP crisis and how we felt that maybe it has been long overdue in being solved. And within the past few days, other things have come up, like the floods in Nigeria and the response of the political aspirant, presidential aspirants to the flood. We also have the issue of Dele Momodu accusing Bola Tinubu as a potential dictator. And then we have the question of Peter Obi and his house at Osborne Tower, Lagos. People are questioning that why should he live in such an expensive highbrow area of the state when he has presented himself to be as a frugal person, but they are trying to say that his words doesn't match his actions. And then finally we'll be looking at Rishi Sunak's ascension to the prime ministerial post in UK and how it relates to the forthcoming election in Nigeria come 2023. So these are many more part of what we are going to be discussing today. So sit tight and listen as we elaborate on these issues. So Mr. Tolu, as I stated earlier on, some people are making inferences about why the presidential candidates, the kind of frantic exports they are making to the flood victims. Tinubu went to Kano and later Atiku went there. Obi went to Benue, to Bayelsa. It seems like the competition between them. So how do you see this their response to the flood victims in Nigeria?
Yeah, expectedly. This is political, and this is a time for politics. So everyone will do that, and these people are the front runner in this race. Yeah. So you expect them to do this. Whatever Mr. Hay does and receive praises, Mr. B will want to do the same thing. So now it's even a matter of trying to outclass each other. You see, the APC, it was not only the actual Bola Tinubu that went to that physically went to meet a flood victim. Even the wife and the wife of the went to Benue State. Atiku went to Bayelsa. All was just I heard something like
yesterday I saw it.
Bayelsa. So it's not that all these things just trying to be the Mr. Goodman or something like that. It's just for political reason. If there is no politics in town now, then these people will not be there.
Definitely.
They won't be there. So that's why you see them. I'm talking in general terms. Everyone. It's not. There is no saint among them. All of them. The reason why they are doing this is just for political to get to political. Yes. Yeah.
But don't you think because they are not the only politicians in Nigeria.
They are
other politicians, okay, they are the front runner. Okay, because people like Sowore, the other man, Kadibia, they should take a clue, even if it's to visit one local government. Let us give millions.
Let us start from Sowore. Sowore declared his assets not long ago on Twitter, and people were like laughing. That is all what I want. Even in my account, I don't have $1 million. Is that the person you want to send to? You can only say, okay, in what? Looking at what is the what of the Sahara reporter, what's the what of this and that. But in the raw cash, he needs to go and present it. He's not going to present Sahara reporter. He's going to present raw cash. Okay. He doesn't really
Well, away from the political aspects, which Tolu looked at it from, I think we also need to give credence and kudos to Peter Obi for bringing up this idea in the first place.
Exactly.
He was the one that took the initiative and called on his counterparts, the political parties, and other political parties to suspend their campaign and help flood victims. So away from the political angle, which
that's a good point. Yeah.
I think Peter Obi needs credit on this, and he needs commendation on this. Yeah. So now back to what Tolu said. Yeah, this is a season of politics, and you rightly observe that each of them are or outdo the other, and that. 5 million, Tinubu went to this is a natural disaster and painful and disheartening that in all of it, even if we say they are trying to outdo I think it has to, we need to also give them recommendation, we need to give them kudos, because this, whether there's
Vice President is very, very influential and can bring and can make things happen.
Yeah.
What did they do?
Solve
Has
this
been
issue.
about 8 good years. This thing has been happening since. This, in fact, the dam in Cameroon that caused this thing was built in 1882. Buhari was in power during Buhari's time, which means Buhari may have even been the one to have signed the agreement with Cameroon.
So should we be expecting
for them,
national and man-made disasters before presidential candidates do what they're supposed to do? So I understand your point. So next, I don't know if it's fire we'll be expecting before we see them.
Well, I will still remain with my earlier point.
Yeah, I know it's fine. It's opinions.
I will still rely with my earlier point because they are not the only presidential candidates. Obi gave an open invitation, but these 3 guys took it up
and good they obeyed what they took it up,
and decided to key into what he said. So I think in everything, let's leave politics out. In everything, we still need to give them
okay. Okay. And so this is also a point.
No, I'm not being political.
No, it's just being objective. This is also a point to other politicians, both senators, whether from the local government to the federal level, and not just politicians, banks, civil society organizations, multinational corporations can put hands together and solve these issues once and for all. You don't just leave it for the presidential candidates. Because now, I don't think any other person has done anything apart from that.
Because but you know that some of these things, okay, there's what you call social responsibility and social responsibility.
Yes.
Even when someone is not trying to be responsible, you can make him responsible. For instance, now, like there was a day I passed through Kogi State, and someone was like, oh, this road, it was Dangote that did this road. So I was like, oh. Then he said it was an agreement with the federal government that I will do it. Money I'm supposed to pay as tax, I'm going to use it for road construction. You understand? Unless government force some people to be some of these organizations to be responsible or talk to them. I heard MTN is doing the same thing maybe in the Enugu state or something. So unless
they remove your tax or do this thing.
Now the fact here is that government cannot do. In fact, in a developing country like us, we need public and private partnership to get to where we are going.
That was what really COVID. That COVID something was public and private because corruption as in it deals with us a lot. That's why even the point you made about MTN signing with the government. Because if you had said, okay, MTN, pay this thing to the necessary and then the government now signs that that money disappears. But when the MTN do it directly, it's better.
Not even that, government will first set up a committee that would keep talking and making recommendations.
And committee they pay them permitting. I
MTN would have been done, or any of the government should have been done. With the construction.
Okay, so moving from there, we'll now go to the point that was raised by Dele Mumundu yesterday. He said that Tinubu is a potential dictator. He even gave instance. He said about one senator, Factor Yomi, that one time he had an issue with him. He personally begged him, forgive this man. He also begged him on Ambode, forgive Ambode, but in all these situations, Tinubu refused. He also gave one other instance, which I'm not really aware of now. But do you think Tinubu is a dictator?
Yeah, you gave valid example, but to me, I will approach this in 2 ways. One, if you talk about based on some of these examples and some examples that we can continue to give, you can say that it has that trait of being a dictator.
Yes, I like that word trait.
Yes, because what do I mean? If you know Tinubu to some extent, it doesn't back down. If he has set his mind to do this, it doesn't back down.
Okay.
We have several examples that this is someone cannot count, as in someone you cannot just say, okay, you can't give order to say, okay, sit here. He wants, as in, he has this, he has this.
Can you give us some examples apart from this?
Okay, for instance, okay, even to some advantage and not to advantage. Some
yes, I will put that advantageous for them.
So I said that this example, when local governments were created in the Southwest then, all the AD governors created local governments. Some created 20 additional local governments and want more local governments, and can they not have more local governments and we have already? He created a lot of local governments. When Obasanjo was like, I'm not going, this nonsense that you people are, I'm going to deal with you people on this. It got to a time, all the governors actually, it was only Tinubu.
I remember.
He made sure,
his federal
he made sure that he doesn't back down. People like that, they have this mindset of an imperial.
Yes.
Whatever they have decided to do, they must just do it. You can say that is to an advantage.
Yeah.
Now you cite this thing as an example. Not only Ambodi, you look at his political history. That is how he removed this vice president. I don't know what must have transpired between them, but you know that there was very before this woman came up.
Yes.
No one
mentioned that he removed 2 of his deputy governors.
You cannot just tell it. Even in the relationship with Wale and the APC, if it is not a person that, if it's a person you can just tell, see that he wouldn't be the presidential.
Controlling the money.
He wouldn't be the presidential.
Raised yesterday in Latin Saturday channels, I think also very careful with the way with his words, and that was why when he was asked that you consider Tinubu to be a dictator, he said potential dictator. So he was very careful with his words. But aside that, he went further to cite examples and instances. He used the issue of former Senator Tokumbo Afikoyomi and others, even to the point of the former governor Bomatunde Fashola and even Ambode. So he said that during the instance where Tinubu wanted having problem with Fashola, he intervened and cautioned him that the path he's trading was a wrong path and he needs to retrace his steps, which Tinubu retraced, and Fashola became the governor for his own term. So, but being what this guy said, Momodu said, I think it's true. This is my opinion. I think it's true because when you look at Tinubu's antecedents, he's had that dictatorial traits in him, and I think this is something that if Tinubu really wants to, I think this is something that Tinubu will need to sit and look at it and evaluate and see how he can be able to take advantage of that trait and work on that. Because I don't think it will be good, because you are going to be having issues with practically everybody.
Yes.
And this is politics. And now to the issue of the issue you raised about Obasanjo denying him federal allocation as a federal allocation when he was governor. Well, we should also bear in mind that Lagos is a commercial state. So Tinubu not backing down as at that time was because he had other options. The state was generating massive revenue, and that was the revenue he was able to use to sustain the state.
It was the highest in Nigeria. It was second highest.
Yeah, so that was the revenue he was able to use to sustain the state. He had other options. If he had not gotten any other option, I can tell you that he would have succumbed.
Then he had talking about 600 million, not even up to $1 billion. Have they sustained about over 50? Then, if at one of these things, if you know when you look for solution. Why for this money? He already created this was a problem. To get money to make sure that these things left. When in 2007, when left, generally 27 billion from 600 billion. So it wasn't like there are some talking about okay, living or not living. There are some traits in you. Some in psychology, they say, okay, intellectual quotient is very important. So there is emotional and social quotient. Even in your social part of your social quotient, this part of trait is not listen to the question.
Because I was about to come to this point now. Is it too much something?
Yes,
and it's a too much something. Because to some extent, Nigeria even needs a dictator, but he has to be a dictator in the right aspect. For example, if Buhari was a dictator, he should have handled corruption. Because people are thinking that he should have used his military experience. But he came and he became even weaker to some extent than Jonathan. Yes. But Jonathan was accused of being weak. Now, so if Tinubu can, if actually, just in case, if he can use that aspect of this thing and use it proper, so it's a two-way. If he gets it right, Nigeria will be better for it. Exactly. But if he gets it wrong, it's going to be very disastrous.
And for the fact that Tnc could talk to him that he should retrace his step back from that of Fashola means he can still
sometimes he listens
to some extent. But my main issue with him now is that are we sure that Tinubu of them is still Tinubu of now?
Well, time will tell. Time will tell for that.
Okay. Issue about Obi. There were recent accusations that he has a house in Osborne Towers in Lagos, and from the record they said the rent there per month is 20 million. I don't know if people pay that kind of amount for just a flat in Nigeria. That's for a month, 20 million for a month, and he has 4 in that place. So he's paying hundreds of millions for just a little apartment here in Lagos. And then, so why people are complaining that this man comes to present himself to people as someone who doesn't like to spend much money. But look at him living this kind of. So what do you think about that?
Obi never presented himself as many things many people say he is to be. We were the one looking for a particular type of person. We now force Obi to be
create a prototype.
Obi is like any Nigerian politician. That's why to me, even if I'm supporting you, doesn't mean I'm not going to say about it. What is about it? What is bad? This guy was governor for 8 good years. He also had corruption history like the rest. So I don't know this messianic
what kind of ideology. But you see, one of the reasons people say they should not even ask him about it is that Obi was already a billionaire before he even became governor. He was established.
Ask all of them, they will answer.
Most of them were no. Most of them. Atiku became rich through government, through his time in customs. Atiku became rich. So Obi stands out in that. This is just. Obi was established. So he has the right to have any. Yes, I know that.
Ashiwaju was the main sponsor of Nana. Even Obi couldn't have done that. You know what it means? Then all the struggle they were going this way. If you even ask a thief this, he will get a way to explain. Okay, for instance, someone was this billionaire that he claimed to be said, they had a share in Apple. He became governor. How he made it? No. He became governor. That this one that of mine when he had it. But he had spending my money. He said this is almost $1 million in dollars when he went to work in Saudi Arabia. He went transferred him to you to work for a year. So now this thing you are talking about was when he was in his yearly 30s. They will have explanation for all these things. We are not forcing them to be messiahs.
Okay, what was your comment?
Well, what I was saying about this Obi issue is the fact that Obi became a millionaire or a billionaire, as the case may be, before he got into politics through business. And he had a life living before he entered politics. So I think Nigerians are not being fair to him because we are trying to dictate a pattern for his life. So I mean, I have money, I can choose to spend it how I want. And this is a property for Christ's sake. This is a house. Nobody knows, the makeup of that house. And nobody knows his desire before going into that house. So I think we are just being too hasty or try to, map out how he should live his own life. He made his money before going into politics, so he's free to spend it the way he wants. This is a property. I mean, it doesn't just make sense. Even okay, if we're talking about frugality now, or the idea of trying to manage resources, managing resources and investing them into proper channels. This is his personal money. It's not yet into government. And even he has become a president by now, and he has that kind of property, which we all know that he got it as a result of him becoming president. Then we can begin to drag him on that. But this is personal life. I mean, this is unnecessary.
No, but just like I've said the other time, and I like the way you put it now. We don't need to create path for. This guy is not faulty in any way concerning these things. We are the ones that have a mindset of a particular type of president we want. None of these people fit into that. Now we are trying to force someone there. And that is why there will always be conflicting of interest in these things. Continually. Another thing will happen to us. But you said you are poor now. But this guy was never poor.
I think we are just trying to turn Obi or cage Obi into what we have designed for him.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is not fair enough.
Okay. So as we round up, looking at just yesterday, the day before yesterday, Rishi Sunak was named the Prime Minister of UK. We all know he has a Hindu background, and even to some extent Kenyan Africa. And people have been wondering, some people have been trying to relate to Nigerian politics and say, Nigeria, see, a minority has become the Prime Minister, the leader in UK. Hoping people are taking a cue from this. So how do you think this relates to Nigeria, Rishi Sunak's ascension?
There is difference between Prime Minister of England and of the British Prime Minister of whatever in the UK and Nigerian president.
What's the difference?
The difference. The king appoints the Prime Minister. Here we do election to appoint our president.
The king doesn't appoint the Prime Minister.
The king.
They elect him among the Tories, among the commons.
Subject to whose appointment?
He must always approve. I've never seen a king, even the queen, reject a prime minister. It's more a formality. Ceremonial.
Oh, you say ceremonial. It's as if you need to read about the power that the King of England still has.
I know he can actually say no, but he's almost certain that he will not say because he's believed to be apolitical. In fact, that's one of the things that they were accusing Charles of that. Queen Elizabeth was more, she doesn't delve into politics. I think she wants to.
But what
if she made
what if he says no?
That is what if.
What if?
Actually, because the point people were making was that Nigerians should vote based on credibility. Because this recently Rishi Sunak was rejected based on his minority status. In fact, it was not supposed to be his trust. From the onset, they knew that he would outperform his trust, but because he had that Indian listing. Yeah. So that is just the point that people were trying to make, that look, that these people have now made this decision. Zambia too elected some time ago someone, a young.
Do you know something? My point is this. My point is this. You expect a Christian UK is more or less in those days, maybe I don't know now, a Christian state and they wouldn't have allowed that. But we have, before we compare some of these states, we look at the system of government there. If it happens in the US like this, then you can tell us, because we run a similar type of government. But in the UK, we don't run similar type of government.
Okay.
And two, England, for instance, let us say, okay, England or UK, these people have their own type. Scotland is different, this one is different. But here, we have different interests when it comes to politics.
Now, the issue, I think the issue you raised was the issue it has to do with the minority ascending into and how that can be replicated. If that can be replicated, so I think we are missing something. The UK, they have a house, just like we have the National Assembly here. So it is within that house now that they elect, who become the UK Prime Minister. So it's not like us here. It's not like us that do elections. So it is the house that determines or decides who the next UK Prime Minister will be. So I think the house has taken a decision. So I don't think it has anything to even do. It can to do with us, because as we conduct elections, you vote, I vote, you vote like that.
We have different interests.
It's very possible that the minority might become president in Nigeria.
Yeah, we have histories of that.
Election determine that.
There's election.
Go on is minority. Oh, we have many.
Yeah, but Goodluck, so you mentioned, Goodluck came through unconventional method. Yar'Adua had to die before he became.
But he won the election in 2015.
No, it was accusation of mandate.
Okay. So, viewers, thank you very much for your time. We have come to the end of today's session of Politics with the News Chronicle. It's been a nice time talking about a lot of things happening in the Nigerian political system and also in the international scene. We'll also be having something like this on Friday, but the sports section, same time, 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. Till then, we'll say goodbye and